What were you thinking when it was announced that everybody was going to go into a lockdown?
Yeah, freak out, big time freak out. I get an email from Marin, one of our bike dealers. Hey, I got your first order of 30 bikes ready to ship. And I was like, you're not shipping them here because I'm going to be closed. But little did I know, I needed them and many more. Right around April, I kept thinking to myself, like, what are you doing here? I couldn't believe people were coming by. You know, I was like, wow, I thought that it was just going to be like, you know, say you're a doctor and you ride your bike to work, right? And you get a flat tire. You know, by the time May or June came up, we were getting like over 100 calls a day, 100, 120 calls a day. And then I had to stop answering the telephone. But everybody in line is like, I'm looking to buy a bike. Every single person, I'm looking to buy a bike. I'm looking to buy a hybrid bike. And at some point I was just like, you know, we don't have them. So we didn't completely sell out bikes. We always had bikes on, just not the bike that you might want.
Right.
You know, like the entry-level hybrid bike, or even the entry-level road bike, or a bike in a size medium. So you have the low-level bikes, so they sell out. So then you have the $600 bikes, they sell out. And so we'd be like, sorry, all we have is the $1,000 bike. And then people would buy the $1,000 bike. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Nobody ever wants to buy the $1,000 bike. The bike problem still going on. Like if you wanted a particular bike right now, I couldn't get it for you. Like last year, it was like I had a sign that said free bicycles out front. And this year it's just very normal. With parts, it happened also, and that is way more frustrating because it's like somebody has a flat tire and you're like, oh, sorry, I don't have a tube. You know, which seems ridiculous. How can you be a bike shop and not have a tube? What happened with bike parts is like the same thing that happened with like toilet paper. I think, you know, like people started flipping out and buying up all these bike tubes. Then so I started flipping out and buying bike tubes, and the other guys started, everybody started doing it. So all of a sudden you couldn't get bike tubes, you couldn't get chains, you couldn't get cassettes, you couldn't get tires. It was really, it was a struggle. At one point I found like bike tubes at Walmart. So I'm like buying bike tubes at Walmart so I can have bike tubes. So it is still going on with the bikes and the parts, but there's less demand for bikes this year. It's funny, if you ask me, like, what would you have rather had if you would rather have, like, not with COVID, but you had like this, for whatever reason, you get a crazy demand in the bicycle industry in 2020. I would not take it, knowing this now. Because it just created this one crazy huge year is really difficult, but I'm like, who's gonna buy a bike this year? Everybody on the planet bought one last year. It's made forecasting really hard. I mean, like, we sold all those bikes. That means there's a lot more people out there riding bikes who are gonna come back and fix their bike or buy a new bike in the future or whatever. And hopefully it just changes in general, like biking overall, yeah.